Hey, 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 what's up, guys? It is the Ace Michaels Show. Ace Michaels is in the house with you. Happy to be on the air every single day of my life, to be there for you. I am a support group wrapped into one thing. And today on the show, we have a fabulous music artist. You know, we've been doing music appreciation, artist appreciation here in Las Vegas the last couple of weeks. And Zuzana is here with us today. She is a fabulous celloist. Oh, yeah. Say that 3 times fast if you can. Do not clap your hands if you're driving, but welcome her warmly. Zuzana, welcome to the Ace Michaels Show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me here. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's all my pleasure. So you are from Slovakia?
That is correct.
Now, what in the heck do you guys do in Slovakia for fun? I can't even imagine that.
All kinds of stuff.
Slovakia.
Slovakia, yeah. I mean, I'm actually coming from a musician's family. My dad is a musician, my brother is a musician, and also my sister.
Wow.
Unfortunately, my mom is completely tone deaf. so yes, but we got all the musical stuff from my dad.
That is amazing and crazy at the same time. So when you were a small little Zuzana, did you think that you were going to end up in Las Vegas playing as a celebrity performer? Like you're a professional working musician in Las Vegas. That's pretty damn hard to do.
It is, yes. But when I was 6 years old, my dad noticed that I probably have a little bit of rhythm, and I was singing and stuff. That I have maybe something in me that I could probably do a living with that. So he asked me what I want to play, and I wanted to play piano, but I'm coming from not very rich family, so why don't we just start with playing a recorder?
Wow.
And I played recorder for 5 years, which is unheard of, right? Because
yeah, that is.
Usually
I wasn't going to say that out loud, but yeah, man, that's pretty much that's a lot of recorder reading.
Right. Pretty much for 5 years, I went to these competitions, and
oh my God.
and I was just this little Zuzana who was just did not care, and I had no fear. And then when there was a time to really play the flute, I couldn't do it. It was just no sound coming out of it. Of course, here I am, 11 years old, and all pissed off at the whole world and want to quit music.
What do you even practice on the recorder? How many songs? I cannot see you listening to Bruno Mars' Uptown Funk and playing the recorder what were you doing? Oh my gosh.
I was playing
That's child abuse.
with the recorder. Well, I played violent stuff, I was just reading music, and I just got into it for 5 years. But like I said, I couldn't do it. When it was time to go play real flute, I couldn't do it. There was no sound coming out of it. So I'm okay, this is maybe not my path. And that lasts probably about 2 weeks. And then my dad was like, what about cello? And here I am. I'm I don't even know what it is. So he showed me the picture, and I'm like, hell no, I'm not playing this. It's too big. It's like a bass.
Right.
And he's like, come on, let's go try it. And if you hate it, then I'm not gonna push it.
Yeah.
And of course, we had to go to a different town to get a lesson, because in my town nobody was teaching cello.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we went to the next town. This is in Slovakia, and we went to next town. And the very first time I hold a cello and I made it sound, I fell in love with it. And I was like, this is what I want to do.
Now, what about, you mentioned that you grew up with a not so affluent family. What about the cost of these instruments? Because cello is not a cheap instrument.
It's not. But yeah, it was definitely challenging. I didn't have a master instrument until I went to college.
Wow.
So pretty much I had a student instrument until I went to college,
Now, when you say a master instrument, I don't know that much about this kind of industry, but I think what you're suggesting is that the better crafted one, if you have a tennis racket, you got the okay one for $19, but if you want to get the pro racket, now you're going to spend $1,900. Is that what you're saying?
That's pretty much a good example of it. It's not like a factory-made instrument, you know what I mean? So yeah,
And so
that's
you must love classical music because I can't imagine that you. I would think the go-to as a cellist would you're going to be playing the classical stuff like mostly.
that is correct. So I'm classically trained, as many of my colleagues, string players here in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And if you would tell me, when I was in college, and if you would tell me, like, oh, you're going to play cello standing up, you're going to play rock, you're going to play pop, you're going to also play electric cello, I would tell you that you're crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
That does seem kind of far out. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I've been to some shows in Vegas, and I have seen some instruments that don't really fit. And I go, like, I've got a buddy who's a violin player. You probably know. You would have to know all the string players in town, I'm sure.
Probably.
But I've got a buddy, Cole, who plays violin.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen him doing, like, bluegrass. I've seen him doing country. I've seen him doing, classical and then standard jazz music. And it's like, in Vegas, yeah, you better be able to play everything. If a rock band wants you to do a rendition of Kashmir by Led Zeppelin, you want the money, right? You want to live, you got to
Right.
eat. So you learn how to play everything. Hip hop artists want you to play on a record. Yeah, that's very interesting. And it's not a real versatile instrument, I wouldn't think. Like a cello is kind of big, it's kind of bulky, and you've got to pretty much read the music. You can't really freestyle on a cello much, can you?
Of course you can.
Oh, you can.
Sky's the limit.
Really?
Well, I'm so glad you brought it up. How you have to be a little bit open-minded because before I moved to Vegas, I was in Boston for 10 years and I played with MIT Philharmonic, which is pretty much all classical.
Yeah.
And but that was just like a voluntary thing for me. Of course, I had to go for audition. But once you're in, you are there every year. You don't have to like re-audition. But it was pretty much all classical. And then I moved to Vegas and it took me about 6 months to get into the scene here because nobody knows who you are when you move to Vegas. So you kind of have to like knock on the doors and like send audition tapes and all that. And I found out very quickly that I have to be a little bit more open-minded because otherwise I'm not going to be able to make a living playing cello. So that's where the playing cello standing up came in, I never in a million years would imagine me playing cello in like standing up because that is, first of all, it's so wrong.
Right. It's I would imagine, like, I don't know, but I would imagine it's technically wrong and probably somebody who invented the cello is rolling over in their grave going, how are they possibly doing this? They're playing my instrument standing up. That's not how it's meant to be
you
played.
basically have to develop this new technique and it's like everything is, your posture is different, your technique is different, your shifting is different. So that was very challenging for me. But now it's pretty much, I would say 90% of the stuff that I do standing up.
Zuzana, we have to address the elephant in the room, which is sexiness. Because the cello, that's a sexy instrument. Like even in one of the James Bonds, he was like courting a cello player. Like it's a sexy instrument. I think it's mysterious to a lot of people because it is so big and it's like you have the standard bass guitar, but you have the frets there. And so a standard bass is not so complicated. But then when you go and you see somebody playing a 6 or 7 string bass or 5 string even, you go, ooh, you're a pro, right? So I've seen most of the cello players in Vegas are, they're attractive women like yourself, and they got to wear the cocktail dress, and it's got to be hot looking. And so my question is, like, how does that work into your social life? Because you're playing an instrument that literally says to people, it's romance time. You know what I'm saying? It's time. Here come the cellos. All right, let me go ahead and propose right now. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to that instrument.
Yes. Well, that's so funny that you're saying that because like years ago when I went to college, it was not cool to play cello at all. It was not attractive. It was just not cool. But now, today, it's a different story. Yeah. I like it. I actually never thought that I'll be able to enjoy playing cello standing up, but it is actually sexy.
Yeah, it's extremely. It's probably the only thing I think could possibly be sexier than a cello on a stage with an orchestra is a harp player. I think a harp, just because of the beautiful curve of it, the instrument, and the way whoever plays a harp, male or female, they have to kind of straddle it, and the way they extend their body to hit the strings.
It's so pretty, right?
Yeah, it's just a beautiful looking. You just can't imagine. I don't know anyone who could imagine that and not think how sexy or sex or romance or But maybe that's just me telling my weirdness. But okay, so Zuzana, we're going to play a game on the show today with you. It's it's a true or false or multiple choice. In this game, you will win zero money, no prizes, just fun. And so I want to start with the first question. Is a true or false question? No, it's not going to be true or false. It's going to be a you fill in the blank question. Okay, you ready?
Oh boy.
Here we are on the ACE Michaels Show. We're going to play a game. This is a musical game. You'll do well at this. So a Stradivarius is a
violin maker.
Ding, ding, ding. You are correct. Yes. Yes. Good job, Susanna. Yes.
Actually, he was making cellos too, but yeah.
Amen. Good job. Woo, wow.
I wish I would own one of those.
That was tense. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next?
She doesn't know.
So she's got 1 point on the board, 1 point on the board. Okay, so since you play cello and you probably know a lot of classical music composers, we're going to give you a lyric and you've got to tell us true or false. Was this one of the classical composers that had put this lyric in their piece of work? Does that make sense, the question?
Yes.
Okay, so this lyric is, I like big butts and I cannot lie. Was that Mozart, Beethoven, or Chopin?
None of those.
Or I was going to say none of the above. Ding, 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 ding. Good job. You were right. You were right. That was Sir Mix-a-Lot. The great composer, Sir Mix-a-Lot, said, I like big butts and I cannot lie. You're doing great. You're 2 for 2. 2 for 2. This is it. This is the final one.
Oh, boy. Am I going to crush and burn on this one?
I don't think so. You're killing it right now. You keep going at this rate, you're going to be doing fine. Those were 2 pretty tough questions, the first 2. Okay. Cello is played with a bow. But true or false, can that same bow be used to play a fiddle, a violin, or any other instrument?
Well, you can play with bow, fiddle, and violin, and cello, and upright bass. So pretty much any string instrument.
And if you're Jimmy Page, can you also play a lead guitar with a bowstring?
I mean, you can if you want to experiment.
We need a final answer.
I mean, it's not usual to play with a bow on a guitar. So I would say no.
You are correct. Ding, 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 ding. Yes. Wow. You are the first 3 for 3 winner on the game that we just created right now. That is nuts.
But I mean, that last question is tricky because, like, can you? I feel like you can try and see, you can have like these weird sounds,
Well,
Is that traditional? No.
No. Right? Could you play a cello with any other? You got to use a bow to play it, right? You couldn't play it with just any other. You can't just run anything else.
You can
strings,
do.
right?
We call it pizzicato. So you can pluck with the fingers.
With your fingers.
Yeah.
I love that too.
Yeah, that's very nice. We always get blisters.
Wow.
On the fingers.
And so, Susanna, do you also do original music of your own? Are you pursuing like writing your own songs and putting records out and stuff like that?
Not writing the full on songs, but if somebody sends me a track and asks me like, can you record a little bit of your cello flavor to it? So that's what I'll write like my cello line.
And in most of these cases, do they offer you sheet music, or you just play what you feel?
No, I pretty much write a chart myself and just come up with something,
That's awesome. And what's your favorite of all the pieces you've ever played? And I'm sure there's thousands over these years. What's your favorite go-to piece that you just love it? And I'd like to know why that's your favorite too.
Mm-hmm. So my favorite go-to, and this goes for a composer as well, is Bach. And I love his Bach suites. I know it's probably like boring to a lot of people. But these suites, that's a must when you study cello.
Oh,
and
wow.
and it's what I love about these pieces is that you can actually it's written for solo cello, so you don't really need like a piano or anything else to play with it, and it makes a lot of sense, you know?
Interesting.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, hey, you wash my Bach, I'll wash your Bach. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Jokes, folks.
You're crazy.
Anyway, okay, Zuzana, how do we find you on social media? We want to follow you. We want to become fans. We want to share, like, subscribe, the whole 9 yards.
So you can follow me on Instagram, and also on Facebook, and also on YouTube.
Everywhere, basically.
Everywhere, yeah.
That's it. You all over the worldwide WW. I love it. Are you got any gigs coming up? We can come check you out?
So pretty much everything is private so far. Yeah, it's all like corporate work. But I just came back from tour from Europe.
Oh, wow.
I'm touring with this rock band Starset, which we've talked about Mariko. So she was their previous cellist.
Mm-hmm.
And, as you know, she went on a tour with Madonna at the time, and they were looking for a cellist. So
yeah, rough life. Well,
that's
sucks so bad.
No, she's great. We're friends. And the rest is history. But right now, I am staying in Vegas, probably for the rest of the year. But, yeah, I mean, I advertise everything on my social media. So if anything public comes up, check it out.
That is what's up. Hey, man, and we didn't even challenge your last name, so let's close the show with the name challenge. Say it for me one time.
So my last name is Engererova. You can do it.
Okay, here we go. Engererova.
Boom!
Did I get that right?
You get that right. I mean, you said it with, the American accent.
Oh, the American way, yeah. Yeah, the American always slows it down and makes it fit their cadence. Like you read American people like, so let me understand. Your name is Maria Lopez.
Right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It's okay. I'm sure I butcher English names as well.
Well, you did great with mine. You did great on the show today. Thank you so much for being my guest. Hey, guys, check her out around town. Follow her on social media. You know what I say? When you see somebody doing good, positive work, you got to get behind that. That's what life's about. And speaking of life, man, live the life you love the life you live. Thank you.
Thank you.